Hello and welcome to the new Zelene EX guide. This fight has mostly single unique bloom mechanics, so I will leave timestamps in the description for if you want to look at something specific you are stuck on. Importantly, we have markers set up like this, and our clock spots look as such. There will be a lot of mechanics done in color pairs. For example, H1 and M1's colors would be D and 4, aka purple. The fight starts with a raid wight followed by shock, where we use color-coded markers for the first time. 4 people get a small AoE around them, and 4 people a bigger one that is also a donut. You bring the donut people onto their color-specific tower and let them soak it. The non-donut players have to dodge out of the little lingering shock to stay safe. Spectre of the Lost is a tank buster that has to be picked up by tanks and pointed away from the group. Put the group on C and tanks on 1 and 2. This will happen multiple times throughout the encounter and is done the same way every time. Next up is Echelon's Fall. Echelon's Fall looks a bit tricky, but it's not that bad. We have DPS always start in and supports always start out on their clock spots. The boss is showing the order of near or far baits, and you can only bait every second one as you will have a vuln. Here for example he shows far bait, and then close bait, close bait. So after the first hit we swap, then we stay for one hit and swap for the last. As long as the in people are inside the hitbox and the out people are outside the hitbox, you can never mess up the baits. Stock Break is a multi-hitting group share that will happen multiple times throughout the encounter. Just be ready to use enough mitigation and healing for this. Now the boss goes away for a little add/intermission phase where 4 orbs spawn and we split the raid in DPS east and supports west. 1 DPS and 1 support will get marked by an add on the side that will do a half room cleave, so you have to face the add in the correct direction. I always just thought of it as pointing the sword out of the arena. The remaining 3 people soak a 3-man tower. Then another player will be marked until it cycles through every player and the orbs die. Now the boss starts doing bloom mechanics. All blooms have a few set patterns to look for specific things to solve the mechanic pretty quickly. And since the visuals in this arena are low-key impossible to see if you're even slightly colorblind, I tried to make a blunt graph to better show off what the patterns look like and what to look for. In Bloom 1, you want to look for the spot where 2 free outer tiles, red equals bad by the way, have a bridge of inner tiles connecting them, and go there. Then dodge clock or counterclockwise with the cleaves. This mechanic ends with everyone having a spread on them. The spread in and of itself is pretty freestylable, just don't stand on red floor as you will 100% explode and die, and I don't know if you're into that kind of stuff. Also, during every bloom mechanic there's a small puddle under the boss that will cause a heavy bleed if you touch it, so stay away from that as well. After first bloom we immediately go into second bloom, where the pattern will look something like this, and the boss will cast Thunder Slash, which is either in first then out, or out first then in. Depending on what pattern you get, you want to go to the side where you have 2 options to dodge into. So if it's out second, you want to go to the side where you have 2 clear outer tiles. You always dodge diagonally into the safe spot, and then 1 step back if it's out, and if it's in second, you go straight into the safe spot and do another step of dodging afterwards. Third bloom is kind of the trickiest, I guess, and introduces a new mechanic where 4 players of the same role, so either DPS or supports, will get roses over their head that will make an empty tile red. If you place a rose on the red tile, you die. You will have 4 towers on the outside ring to soak by the non-rose players, and we do this color based as well. The rose players cannot place their rose in a way that connects 2 towers to each other, as that will make them eventually explode and wipe the raid. So the only way you can place them is like this. This pattern is 100% consistent. There's always 1 guy in between 2 inner reds, and 3 guys exactly opposite of that. This pattern might change in orientation, but we still choose who goes where color based. As you can see, our 3 marker here is touching the singular safe spot, so our blue player goes there and the other 3 people go opposite. Step out of the new placed rose tile while the other people soak the towers and stay in the tile, and the mechanic resolves. AoE damage into Bud of Valor. 3 people get donuts that will be placed on your clock spot outside of the boss's hitbox, and the rest 5 people will stack in the center to take 2 stacks. You can cheese the stacks and soak them together as they don't give a magic wound debuff, you just have to mitigate it a tiny bit. Now we do another set of Echelon's Fall, with the donut people being the out first group this time. If the pattern is alternating like it is right here, you stay one time, then you swap, and you stay again. The Echelon in of itself works the exact same way as it does the first time. It's just important to note that this time it is not supports out first by default, it's donut group out first, because it makes it easier for the donut people to just be in the place they need to be already. 4th bloom. Again, a roll will get 4 roses that we bring to the huge empty space in this pattern to fill it out. The other roll has spreads that they bring opposite from that empty chunk without touching any reds that would blow the rose people up. Afterwards, we meet up opposite of the rose group and stack together tightly as we get targeted brambles in support and DPS groups that we will need to break. We send the supports left looking at the boss and DPS right. After the brambles break, there is a support stack that is shared via the red floor. So the healer with a stack AoE needs to touch the huge connected red line and DPS stand on it to share. Another Bud of Valor. This is the same baited cleave mechanic as in the beginning. There's just an add that cleaves a side of the arena once before the mechanic starts and once after it resolved. Here, we start on the east side, then we hop over, DPS in first, supports out first, we play our swaps, and then we prepare to do another half room cleave dodge, which is kinda fast, so you can pre-position a bit closer than you usually would to make it to the other side faster. For this, the same rule applies as in the first baits, where DPS are in first, supports out first, and then in the end we have a multi-hitting group share again. 5th bloom. The arena will always look somewhat like this. There's 2 quadrants that are completely cooked and 2 completely free. 2 sets of chakrams will spawn in, one after the other, always cleaving the free spots, while there's an in and out thunder being channeled. Go away from the first chakram that spawned, then we dodge over the cooked platforms in between thunder hits so we don't get damage from it, to get to the now new safe side, and don't forget to be either in or out depending on what she started channeling first. 6th bloom. One roll will get 4 roses again and the other 4 nothings. Nothings soak the towers in their color quadrant. At the same time, the boss is casting Holy Hazard. Okay, look people, I'm going to be honest. I know how the mechanic is supposed to work and I'm going to explain it as well, but the easiest way to do it is just not give a rip and just get hit by the hazard. What they want you to do is check which towers are getting cooked by the cleave second and have roses be used to extend that tower player's path to make them soak their tower by proxy. So sometimes it's the outer people and sometimes it's the inner people, depending on what tower is getting covered by the second cleave. What I recommend you to do, or I don't care what you do, what we did is we placed the roses in an alternating pattern so nothing is connected and just get hit and take the bullnop. Obviously the people who place the roses and 2 of the tower people don't need to get hit, so they can just dodge regularly. But it makes it infinitely easier to just stay in the tower and take a hit. You just put up some mid and don't die. Now it's the repeat bloom where you follow the rotation and the fight is as good as over. There is repeat tank busters, multi-hitting AoEs and stuff, until you finally enrage. Thank you for watching. I hope this was somewhat helpful to get you an early clear of this, and stay tuned for upcoming Savage guides for the new tier, or watch us live as we try to kill as fast as we can. I'll also leave a raid plan in the description box below describing all the blooms. If you want to share it in PF, feel free to subscribe if you want to, and if you don't want to, then don't. Love you guys, bye.